Attention passionate Detroit, Lions fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Detroit Lions' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Detroit Lions fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Detroit Lions fans. Let's get to the news now. When we talk about the NFC North, it's impossible not to focus on the Detroit Lions. This team, for the past few seasons, has been building something special. They've been reshaping their roster, adding depth, talent, and a relentless desire to climb back to the top of the division, and perhaps beyond. But what's really catching everyone's attention now is a shift happening not just within their division but across the league. Something that could redefine how the Lions approach their upcoming season and their quest for Super Bowl glory. And no, it's not just about the players on the field, but about the moves that are being made behind the scenes, the trades, the strategic additions, and the new dynamics that are setting the stage for what could be a historic year for Detroit. We all know Detroit has been on the rise, especially after last season where they showed resilience, talent, and a clear direction. Jared Goff has been leading this charge, proving that he's more than just a reliable quarterback. He's a leader who can elevate the entire team. The Lions have invested heavily in their offense, bringing in fresh talent and shoring up their defense, but the latest news points to a move that could take their roster to an entirely new level. It's about adding versatility, experience, and an extra dimension that can make a difference in critical moments. And speaking of moves, there's this recent trade that's been making waves. It involves the Jacksonville Jaguars, who, as many of you know, have been aggressively reshaping their roster in recent years. The Jaguars, under the guidance of GM James Gladstone, have been very strategic in their approach, targeting players who can bring immediate impact and long-term value. Just recently, they made a move to bolster their wide receiver room by acquiring Tim Patrick from the Detroit Lions in a trade that involved a 2026 sixth-round pick. Yes, you heard that right, Tim Patrick, a veteran wide receiver with a lot of experience, is now a Jacksonville Jaguar. This move might seem minor at first glance, but when you dig deeper, it's part of a bigger picture that could influence the balance of power in the AFC South and even have ripple effects across the league, including the NFC North. Tim Patrick, for those who might not be familiar, is a player whose career has been marked by perseverance and resilience. Entering the NFL as an undrafted free agent with the Baltimore Ravens back in 2017, Patrick's journey has been anything but easy. He spent time with the Ravens, San Francisco 49ers, and Denver Broncos, although he didn't see game action in his rookie season. It was only later that he truly broke through with the Broncos, becoming a reliable target and a key piece of their offense from 2018 onward. Over his career, he's accumulated 176 receptions for 403 yards and 15 touchdowns over 71 games, including 46 starts. Last season, he signed with the Lions and appeared in 16 games, starting 9, finishing with 33 receptions for 394 yards and 3 touchdowns. That's a solid contribution from a veteran who's been through a lot, who's faced injuries, setbacks, but who always comes back hungry. Standing at 6'4" and weighing 212 pounds, Patrick is a big receiver with a physical presence that the Jaguars are clearly excited about. The team's GM, James Gladstone, made it clear in a recent statement that they value what Patrick brings, not just as a receiver, but as a blocker and veteran leader. Gladstone mentioned how Patrick's journey has been marked by overcoming obstacles and that he's eager to earn every opportunity ahead of him. The Jaguars see him as someone who can add depth and experience to their receiver room, which already includes second-year star Brian Thomas Jr., number 2 overall pick Travis Hunter, free agent Dyami Brown, and training camp standout Parker Washington. But adding someone like Patrick, with his size and versatility, gives them a new dimension. They're building a team that can adapt and thrive in multiple scenarios. Now, for the Lions, losing Patrick is a blow, but it also highlights their willingness to develop young talent and take calculated risks. Detroit has been emphasizing youth and upside, especially on offense, where players like Jameson Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Jahmyr Gibbs have been central to their strategy. Still, losing a veteran like Patrick leaves a gap, and it'll be interesting to see how the Lions respond in terms of their depth chart. They've already shown that they're not afraid to make bold moves, trading away players, drafting new talent, and constantly trying to find that perfect mix to push for a deep playoff run. But let's get back to the Jaguars for a moment. The move to acquire Tim Patrick isn't just about adding a big receiver. It's about strategic diversity. Patrick's ability to block effectively, ranking 9th among 59 qualifying wideouts in PFF run block grade in 2024, adds a layer of physicality to Jacksonville's offense. His size, at 6'4", 212 pounds, brings a new dimension to their passing game, especially in red zone situations and contested catches. The Jaguars also previously tried to trade for Devon Veal, a second-year pro from Denver who stands at 6'5", 210 pounds, a clear indication that they're prioritizing size and physicality at receiver. The fact that Denver's coach Sean Payton mentioned Jacksonville as a contender for Veal's services shows just how active and strategic the Jaguars are being in this offseason. Meanwhile, the Lions continue to focus on their core, developing their young players, and building around Jared Goff's leadership. The team has been consistently improving, and their roster now boasts a combination of veteran experience and youthful upside. The key for Detroit moving forward will be maintaining that balance, making smart additions, and ensuring that their offense can be as explosive as it was last season. With players like Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jahmyr Gibbs, and the emerging talent on their offensive line, they have the pieces to surprise many critics and push deep into the playoffs. And what does this mean for the NFC North? Well, it's clear that the division is getting more competitive every year. The Vikings have been retooling, the Packers are in a rebuilding phase, and the Bears are adding young talent to try to challenge Detroit's dominance. For the Lions, staying ahead means not just developing their roster, but also watching how these moves ripple across the league. Jaguars' acquisition of Patrick, for example, might seem like a move in the AFC, but the ripple effects are felt league-wide. Teams are now more aware of the importance of veteran presence, size, and versatility, traits that Patrick embodies, and that could influence how Detroit and other teams approach their roster building. The NFL season is always full of surprises, and trades like this remind us that it's a constantly evolving landscape. Detroit has been on the rise, but they know they're not there yet. They're looking for ways to push even further, to become a true Super Bowl contender. This means not just drafting well or developing players, but also making strategic moves like the Jaguars' trade for Tim Patrick. It's about building a roster that can adapt to different game situations, withstand injuries, and capitalize on opportunities when they arise. As Lions fans, we should be excited about the direction this team is heading. The front office is clearly putting thought into every move, every addition, and every departure. They're building a team with depth, experience, and a hunger for success. But at the same time, we have to keep an eye on how other teams are also evolving. The Jaguars' move to acquire Tim Patrick signals that they're serious about contending, and that kind of aggressive strategy is something Detroit might need to counter or emulate in the future. This is what makes the NFL so fascinating: the constant chess match between teams, the strategic moves, the surprises, and the stories of perseverance and triumph. Detroit is right in the thick of it, and with each new development, fans like us get more invested, more passionate about our team's future. The road to the Super Bowl is never straightforward, but with the right moves, the right mindset, and of course, a little bit of luck, the Lions could very well be on that path again this year. And let's not forget how important leadership and veteran presence are in this league. Jared Goff has been stepping into that role, guiding this young core, and showing that he's capable of leading this team deep into the postseason. The addition of veteran players, whether through trades or free agency, adds that extra layer of grit and experience that can make all the difference in those tight playoff moments. And with teams like the Jaguars making bold moves, it's clear that everyone is aiming for that top spot, that ultimate goal of the Lombardi Trophy. So as we sit here, analyzing every move, every trade, every draft pick, it's impossible not to feel a sense of excitement. The Detroit Lions are building something special, and while the league continues to shift and evolve, one thing is certain: the NFC North is about to get a lot more interesting. The Lions are not just participating, they're aiming to dominate, to compete for championships, and to etch their name into NFL history once again. The journey is far from over, but every step they take, every move they make, brings us closer to that glorious day when Detroit returns to the Super Bowl stage and makes a statement that echoes across the league. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Detroit Lions news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. Looking ahead, fans, it's crucial to stay optimistic but also realistic. The Lions have shown resilience, they've been strategic, and they're hungry for success. Their coaching staff, led by Dan Campbell, has been emphasizing toughness, discipline, and grit, all qualities that will be essential as they face a more competitive division and a league full of talented teams. The addition of key players and the continual development of their young stars will be the keys to unlocking their full potential. And with each game, each week, they'll be tested, pushed to their limits, but that's what makes this journey so exciting. And now, Detroit Lions fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this trade, on the team's direction, on their chances this season? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Detroit Lions. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Detroit Lions news. This season promises to be one of the most thrilling in recent memory, and together, we're going to follow every step of this incredible journey. Thanks for being part of this community, and as always, go Lions!